So very excited about this second leg of the panels that we have in here about fashion after a deep dive on young entrepreneurs and designers on stage. We're going to still young, but more experienced entrepreneurs and enterprises with Snob as well. Very happy to be joined by Miriam and Nicolò, CEO and founder of Snob, Non per Tutti, which is a beautiful magazine encompassing art, luxury, fashion, and culture. I invite you to have a look at the magazine later because it's super beautiful. And then we have Marc Sonderman, a seasoned entrepreneur working at the intersection of digital media and fashion. Thank you, Marc, for being with us today. And Americo Cacciapuoti, CEO and founder of WOW Labs, which you might know or not know, but they build digital product passports. So thank you so much. I'll start from Marc for this focus on fashion and Web3, because I feel like it's a pretty interesting intersection we're living, right? So if I was to travel back in time, all right, let's say 15, 20 years, and take a look at what fashion was back then, we wouldn't recognize a scene, right? It would be completely different. The way fast fashion communication has changed from top-down communication to communities to, I don't know, local brands starting their business on social media and dropping collections. Everything has changed, right? So on top of these old innovations, e-commerces and whatever, now we have Web3, all right, coming in. Is it coming in hard or slow?
Well, thank you, and hello to everybody. Actually, it's curious that you say that because that's not many people perceive that, but it's actually true. Business models in fashion have changed radically, like you say, from vertical to horizontal, from exclusive to inclusive, and maybe too much so, because if you look at the luxury and upper premium segments, they've been subject to big disruption in the sense of the loss of pricing power. So I think the biggest problem in the industry in the last years has been the loss of pricing power. Basically, either because it was geolocated and you lost the possibility to geolocate, like China, there used to be a huge gray market, disappeared. Basically, prices had to be aligned. You also have the problems that marketplaces compete with your websites. You have a race to the bottom with prices with certain brands who are not exclusively distributed. So what you see now is the result of that. The brands who've been stayed at the top of the heap, like Loro Piana, Bordello Cucinelli, to some extent also Moncler because they're very new. So those are Keaton, Stefano Ricci, those are going very, very well. They cater to the wealthiest niche on the planet, and they are not over-distributed. They don't have conflicts of channel. The problem is most other brands have that, so they had a race to the bottom. They had 2-3 years now after the pandemic, and they got somehow overestimated themselves, and they aligned the prices upwards, which was a disaster because their target group isn't able to afford that. So basically what we learned is there's no pricing power left in the industry, apart from those exceptional and extremely restrictive and extremely severely, conducted business models, like Chanel also, for instance, if you want, where people still queue outside the door. So how can we gain that back? And I think Web3 is really the opportunity, and I think that the big luxury players see this. They see the chance that, certifying your provenience, certifying ownership, certifying, information about the product that you can actually use, like the digital product passport, which is a big trend right now. So congratulations, you're on one of the biggest trends of our industry today. And so I think that's going to be crucial because I think brands will want to engineer to a certain extent, immersive but exclusive experiences for their clients. And Web3, all the tools and niches of Web3 seem to me ideally suited to do this. Nobody knows how exactly that will take place. But the fact that the bubble, burst last year, everybody talked about the metaverse and Web3 and crypto.
That was a question that
NFTs,
I had.
And they did that and didn't know what they were talking about. They did wrong pilots. And that's always the most interesting moment when, the biggest errors have been made, nobody believes in it, and there's an enormous market to be catched.
Awesome. Thank you. So Americo, we mentioned, how the market has transformed and shifted over the years. But it's not just about, the dynamics and stuff, the way, the business models has evolved, but also the way customers perceive brands, right? So it's not just about the brand anymore. It's not just, I'm buying Nike because it's Nike, or I'm buying Chanel because it's Chanel, but I want to recognize myself in the values that the brand brings to the table. And it's very easy to cancel brands and to, kind of way, rehabilitate them, but, it's a very dynamic world where values are at the core of the customer experience.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me, okay? And nowadays things work a bit differently, and we all know that, and actually it's great that things are changing, that's for sure. There is a big shift. Basically, consumers, they want to be more informed about, the products that they are buying. They want to have more information. Definitely, they want to know about the materials that were used, if they were sustainable, and it's very important. So I would say that things are changing. They are changing quickly. Also, Web3 is helping a lot of new brands actually to to just go ahead and provide also these informations. And as you said before, and also as Marco was saying, it will actually become mandatory, to have all the information.
There's this regulation coming in,
exactly.
About eco-design, right?
Exactly. So I think that's gonna actually help a lot of consumers, but also the brands to be more sustainable and to be more transparent. If brands have been...
Yeah, do you think that brands are really interested in being transparent, or they're forced to be transparent?
Yeah, let's say that it's really hard, and for experience, we've been working with some brands, and it's not an easy job. They do things properly, most of the brands. It's just that it's really difficult to keep track of everything. So, to actually give information about all the process that there is behind, about the materials that are used, where they were sourced, it's very hard. That's the reality. So nowadays, brands, they try to take time, okay, and really think about how to do it. Also because obviously they're going to be obligated, but it's needed because, now it's not looking good for fashion. Things are way too quick, and it's good that it will change.
Sorry, just a selfie in between. Right moment to take a selfie. All right, got it. So you talk about transparency and values, but also I feel like a huge element is interaction, right? And interaction with your customer base, with your fans, with your readers base as well. Because Snob, of course, is a magazine, and now in the publishing sectors per se is new to technology in a way, and so as you probably don't know, guys, but Snob magazine is probably one of the first magazine in the world to actually integrate digital technology. Box Singapore. I think you're in good company, right, Miriam?
Thank you. So yes, I believe that we are the first after Vogue Singapore to have this digital passport. When WoW Lab offered us this kind of opportunity, in the first time we said, what is this? Because it's not so easy for us. We came from another sector, so it was very hard to understand. Mm-hmm. So first of all, we had to deeply understand what it was. After that, we understood the possibility to open new level of business, new increasing in sale of our magazines, and new kind of possibility, new opportunities. But I know every day, through the people I meet, that there are two big differences in generational. People over 40 like me, they are interested in the project, but not very, yes, to understand the digital, what is the digital passport. But younger people are
yes,
very easy for them to understand. So I spoke also with the bookstore, and I asked what the people do when they saw the digital passport.
Oh, that's interesting.
And younger people try to put the iPhone, exactly. But what is this? It's not so. I think that we need the chance to instruction, to do instruction of this digital passport. I don't know why.
Educating people
Educating people. I don't know why it's your job, so enjoy. I don't know the.
We build, but also educate a lot. I mean, it's part of our, mission in a way.
Yes. But it's important for us because I have to sell the magazine now, not in the past. So it's a big possibility, a big opportunity for us.
Awesome. Thank you, Miriam. No, absolutely. Definitely, there's a persona or target issue, with technology. Like, this is something we cannot erase. I feel like, Marc, it's in a way, age is a factor. I mean, it's a question, I feel.
Yeah, I wanna continue about this topic because I find it it's interesting. Like what you said, it's right. Like we do ourselves struggle a bit, like to explain the technology, and also to have people understand how it works. Well, in your case, we used an NFC tag, and a lot of people still don't know how it works. But if you tell them, hey, it's the same as your credit card, then they start understanding, okay, I just need to tap on it, with the phone to actually see all the information. I think it's like, it's very, like we're living in the era where like people are still a bit confused, but I'm sure in a few years everyone will be aware of such a technology, and will be.
It's a learning curve, right? It's
exactly.
like it's pretty standard procedure.
Exactly. We have like major brands now implementing a similar technology with the smart tags, and we know like big players such as Prada, Louis Vuitton, Margiela, Balenciaga. They are all using this technology in their garments, and so everyone is familiar. The other day we were having another event. There was Marco Ruffa of Pinko, where he was saying that they use the same technology on their bag. Now I don't remember the name, but it seems like it's like their iconic bag. And last year they sold 630,000, which is a big number. In fact, something funny, I was talking with a cousin of mine, and obviously she's not in the Web3, she doesn't know much about technology, but she knows Pinko. And then when she asked me, what do you actually do? And then I told her, I'm like, we provide the technology to prove the authenticity of the items, and there are all the informations clear to the consumer. She goes like, oh, the same as the bag of Pinko. I'm like, there you go. That's what we do, It's the same thing. So
there are benchmarks happening.
Exactly. I think it's just a matter of time, to be honest.
A matter of time.
Yeah.
Cool. Marc, you already kind of like we anticipated the question that I wanted to ask you about trends, right? Of course, 2021, metaverse, NFTs, brands launching collections, brands building their own metaverse or building metaverses on other famous, platforms. For obvious reasons, the storm has passed a little bit. The hype has kind of faded away, in a way. So what's left? Do you feel like those were the wrong pilots, or it's just a lot of buzzwords put together in the hands of, in the mouth of someone that really doesn't understand the technology behind it, and then the real builders behind it are gonna stay and work on it, or we should try and look for new avenues, new technologies?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and I know I mean, I run a magazine for the fashion business for 10 years, last 10 years, so, I know it's ambitious, but I think it's still very relevant. But to be honest, we're talking about people, knowing all of these entrepreneurs, they're very good in catching buzzes. They don't know anything about technology. They have a very good fantasy in imagining how the technology could help them, but normally they're the latest adapters of all. So I would, unfortunately, like Mr. Negra from Pinko, he was the first adapter with e-commerce. He launched a B2C business model in the direct-to-consumer, DTC business model in 2010. He hired the ex-stilista from Valentino, I think, at the time. And he did a great project, didn't go anywhere, spent €2 million, and for the next 8 years, he didn't even have an online shop. So this is exactly how the fashion industry works. So they're very good in detecting the trend, but they're not good at engineering the technology to the moment that it goes to market. So I would be cautious in saying that they will, like for instance, unfortunately, the bag that you quote, I think this year they have minus 50, 60%. Because this is the nature of the game in fashion. They penetrated China in a very strong way. Now China is basically dead. China, as you know, has a huge strategic problem at the moment, and the market is not moving. So everybody is retrenching and is very afraid. So this is fashion for you. So I think that the basic things will be blockchain will be able to certify the supply chain to really say, because for Italian entrepreneurs, the provenience of the product, of course, the Italian supply chain is much more sustainable than if you ship it like from the luxury brands, because most of the production happens in Italy. It's the only production that you can still afford to do in Italy is for the very high brands, because everything else is shipped 5 times around the world before it gets sold, right? It goes to Vietnam, and then it goes to Morocco, and then another piece is done in Turkey, and then it's assembled somewhere else again. So, of course, which is anti-sustainable. So I think blockchain to certify where it comes from, is it sustainable, is necessary. Digital product passport, yes. I think if you will spend money, you will need to know, is it really, really what I think it is? And will I be able to resell it, which I think is the true sustainability, actually really have circular product that is durable, product that is very high quality and that I can easily sell in the second market, which is a big, big issue, and it's very trendy. If you look at boutiques in Soho or boutiques in Paris or in Bond Street, even you have them in London. I mean, these are curated much better than the average multi-brand store and than the average mono-brand store. So there's huge potential in that. And I think that's, everything that plays into this, I think will help. And on the other hand, you have the dominance, the totalitarian dominance of the big platforms. Why is it called Meta? Why was Mark Zuckerberg investing in the metaverse? And he's still investing in it because he wants to bond you in, I was talking with TikTok yesterday. I mean, of course, they want to control the shopping funnel. I mean, the moment that you invest in marketing in Amazon, so the marketing happens on Amazon, the traffic, the search for products happens on Amazon, you buy it on Amazon, you get shipped on Amazon, you get Prime, you get the TV, they basically own you.
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
So this is the whole battle, and I think their idea of the metaverse is
I control the market.
Yeah, you get closed in
like
this
an all-encompassing environment where everything happens inside me.
Ideally, I enter the Dior store, and if I put on the glass, I will see it and can shop it on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
So, which is for Dior is like a nightmarish idea.
This sounds like a dystopian, future to me.
And I think they're moving that way, and they think they will go there. And I think that the luxury industry understood that if they don't fight this battle with like happened in e-commerce, right? They were not subjugated by Amazon because there were other trends that they insourced. So they will have to do the same thing before that gets dominant. you have to acquire the technological antibodies to be able to create your own immersive experience so you don't get gobbled up by those giants. But it's going to be very difficult. But if somebody can do it, it's the firepower and sheer financial firepower of the luxury industry. So let's see.
So you don't see a movement from the bottom rising up, like Web3 is supposed to be, like technically speaking.
I do think that the DTC revolution that is taking place in fashion is not in the Web3 world yet, it's very Web2, but you know, I've seen now brands in the US particularly, but of course China is an interesting, where they really from the grass on, brands were born, like Fanatics for instance, right? An e-commerce entrepreneur bought Fanatics and scaled it into billions only digitally first, you know? And this will happen. I think that the business model of Giorgio Armani of the 80s is going to be substituted. I think it's old. I think it's what Mr. Arnault bought is old stuff. I think new brands like, think of the GOAT Group in Los Angeles, you know, a marketplace for sneakers didn't exist 3 years ago, do see it $700 million today. Who knows in 3 years? Yeah. Think of all these startups in the West Village in New York. There's a lot of DTC startups so that actually already doing 30, 80, 200 million. So those are coming out from nothing, and they will be better in reading the customer. It's a nightmarish IT landscape in the old-fashioned brands. ERP doesn't talk to, you know, the shopping system and the point of sale.
Completely bypass all the previous system.
The customer data platform is not connected, so it's a big mess. It's just legacy stuff. They still have, you know, AS400 IBM machines from the 60s that basically do the ERP. So how can they ever survive in this digital revolution? I think they will die. Many of them will die. We're seeing it
others
today.
will buy you.
And new players will come out from scratch who will have easy supply chains, less SKUs, much more nimble processes, ability to scale their marketing globally, you know, be on TikTok, be on Instagram, be on every direct channel, and wow, go like this. And they will be, I think, the ones who will adopt this technology in the most efficient way.
Super interesting. Thank you, Marc.
That's what I think.
Awesome. Miriam, yeah, one last question for you, otherwise we're gonna like, I mean, I go on forever, but we have a very strict timeline. So we're talking about markets, in this case fashion, but also publishing, right? This is something very new. Digital passport, yes, it verifies the authenticity of your magazine with its beautiful cover, you know, in a digital twin, verified by the digital passport. What's really interesting to me is the ownership / you know, NFT part of it, where you elevate the interaction with your audience, right? So how do you think technology is going to change that? Because like right now, we're moving forward towards a world where, you know, magazines are read online. This could be a very nice alternative for you to kind of like transition into the digital world in a way.
Te lo dico in italiano così
Sì,
poi
sì,
tu
sì,
mi aiuti a
italiano.
tradurre.
I'll translate for you guys.
Noi, quanti italiani ci sono in sta? Oh, fantastico, mi capite tutti allora?
I'll translate for her.
Ok. Allora, noi abbiamo deciso di iniziare, diciamo, con questo nuovo grande mondo che, ripeto, stiamo imparando passo passo, perché abbiamo fatto tutto un numero dedicato all'intelligenza artificiale, per cui c'è un'importanza sul tema metaverso e intelligenza artificiale che in questo numero ha sia nella parte contenutistica, quindi giornalistica, che nella parte invece di immagine. Ad esempio abbiamo lavorato con un grande sceneggiatore che ha scritto un racconto sul metaverso e abbiamo lavorato con dei fotografi importantissimi nel mondo dell'arte che hanno utilizzato l'intelligenza artificiale 15 anni or sono, quando ancora l'intelligenza artificiale non si sapeva che cosa fosse. Per cui ci sono dei lavori istruiti con ritratti del 500, ritratti fiamminghi, che sono meravigliosi, magari ecco, dopo riesco a mostrare.
Sì, esatto,
per cui per me era un tema interessantissimo per vedere dove sta andando l'intelligenza artificiale. Soprattutto abbiamo chiesto al massimo esperto del settore come il lavoro creativo sta cambiando con appunto l'utilizzo dell'intelligenza artificiale. Continuo poi dopo.
So, just translate for it. So this is not just about tokenizing this specific magazine. This whole magazine is all inspired by AI and a study around how AI is changing the world as we know it. They had some contributors from as writers, photographers, and from different fields to intervene, even experts about AI to chime in and talk about how AI is going to change the creative aspect of the word.
È un tema così interessante per noi che oltre a questo, che è stato diciamo un inizio e vi ringraziamo per questo, stiamo lavorando con l'Accademia di Comunicazione, che è un'eccellenza italiana che noi abbiamo, un'eccellenza italiana nel mondo che noi abbiamo a Milano tra l'altro, per cui il presidente, il fondatore Michelangelo Tagliaferri ha detto ma è un nostro, esatto, dice ma scusa, sarà un tema e sarà argomento d'esame l'intelligenza artificiale, non possiamo negarlo, non possiamo ignorarlo, per cui faremo delle lezioni totalmente dedicate a questo e Snob insieme a loro diciamo che darà spazio a tutto quello che saranno i progetti di questa Accademia di Comunicazione da cui escono i più grandi marketer del mondo. Lui è stato anche un comunicatore di Berlusconi per 20 anni, però questa è una piccola parentesi, sì, è stato l'ideatore del payoff, un imprenditore rubato alla politica. Detto questo, è molto interessante per noi per n ragioni. Ovviamente noi adesso stiamo cercando di capire in che modo può essere ancora più interessante, magari vendendo delle limited edition, magari vendendo dei contenuti speciali. Oltre a questo, appunto, il contenuto speciale quale potrebbe essere? Noi abbiamo fatto 2 importanti cover con un importante artista di fama internazionale che è Max Papeschi. Una delle 2 è questa e l'altra invece è un'opera unica creata appositamente per noi che venderemo a un'asta di beneficenza e che è possibile acquistare tramite appunto l'NFT, per cui è possibile scambiarlo ed è un'opera unica, non la troverete da nessun'altra parte se non sul magazine di Snob, quindi diventa una vera e propria opera d'arte, no? Esatto, e soprattutto un pezzo da collezione, per cui stiamo cercando di capire anche noi in che modo poterlo sfruttare al meglio, per cui è una sfida continua e questo ci ha aperto possibilità di parlare anche con tantissime altre realtà.
Grazie. So she's saying, but first of all, they're establishing a lot of collaboration, even with the Accademia della Comunicazione, which is a super famous communication academy in Italy, which generated, all the best, still generates the best communicators in Italy. And the founder, Michelangelo Tagliaferri, is a super known figure in the Italian communication field, worked with Berlusconi for 30 years. So a pretty big guy. So they're trying to expand and create connections around them to kind of like bring new people to discover technology and at the same time explore new avenues for the sector. They don't really know where this is going. It's sort of uncharted waters, like they don't really know what's going to happen, but it's really interesting because it's creating also new avenues for business models that are not existing right now. For example, they had this two issues chipped. One is the one you're seeing right now. The other one, it's a piece from Max Papeschi. Both of them are from Max Papeschi, right? Esatto. Yes. It's probably going to be here. The other one, yes.
Questa è l'opera unica.
So they're planning to sell the NFT, the digital twin of this cover, maybe in limited editions, or create sort of a capsule collections for the issue. So they're just trying to assess how the technology can actually be leveraged to create new business models, new avenues to interaction with stakeholders and also customers. So totally uncharted waters. We don't know where we're going, but it feels like it's a good direction. So
siamo aperti però.
They're open to explore.
Siamo molto curiosi.
Yes, and
Infatti parlavo prima con dei ragazzi perché, ripeto, non è il mio settore, io arrivo da un'altra realtà e sto imparando tantissime cose e chiedevo a dei ragazzi, dicevano ma che figo, ma perché è figo? Cioè spiegatemi perché è così cool. E loro mi dicevano perché io trovo tutte le tue informazioni in una sola pagina, semplificandolo, ovviamente aveva 21 anni il ragazzo, dice io trovo tutte le tue informazioni, quindi trovo la provenienza, trovo la possibilità di acquistarlo ovviamente online, quindi e quindi dice per me è interessante perché io conosco l'origine del prodotto e soprattutto c'è una scontistica, ci sono poi diversi vantaggi che ovviamente noi cerchiamo di inserire perché altrimenti insomma dobbiamo anche noi cercare di portare nuovi clienti, nuovi lettori. Però io credo ci siano molte altre possibilità, ripeto, che non conosco, che sto ipotizzando come appunto creazioni di opere uniche e di limited edition, di contenuti speciali. Però ecco, questo è tutto in divenire, poi mi affido anche ad Americo e alle tue idee, io sono molto aperta.
So she's saying like she was approached by a 21 years old guy who told her like, this is so cool, like with a simple tap of the phone I can access all the information about your magazine, all like packed together in a single platform, and I can learn all about your magazine, I can interact with it, I can receive discounts, I can do whatever I want through the digital passport. It's something new, something cool that's really attractive for probably younger generations in a way, but it's really like still an exploration, you know, that is ongoing and it won't stop. It's funny that you mentioned that she said something like, I also rely on Americo to how to find new solutions, but actually for us it's the other way around. Most of the times we talk to clients and we offer a platform and we're like, oh, this is a great idea, we didn't think about it. It's like usually the client has these ideas, these creative ideas that we like, so in a sort of transfer and transform in a use case. You know, it's really like connecting creativity with technology. I feel like we live in a super exciting, you know, juncture in time where really technology is working with creativity alongside, and it's just intertwined. And it's not just you're a nerd, you're doing techie stuff. We're all very creative in technology, and technologies are very creative in the other way around. So super cool. Thank you guys for being with us today.
Grazie.
I hope you
Grazie
guys loved the chat. I definitely did. See you guys next time. Grazie.
Grazie, grazie, thank you.